go to FPV flying? Yes, absolutely. I think you'd enjoy it. Hi, my name is Todd. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. I greatly appreciate that. It means a whole lot to me that you take a little bit of your time to check out my videos. So this video, I'm discussing FPV flying and my experience with it. Now, I'm a new FPV flyer. I've flown helicopters and planes for a number of years, enjoy flying those very much, and I decided it was time to step into the world of FPV and see what it's all about. And so with the Father's Day discount DJI I went ahead and picked up the DJI system, and I'm telling you right now, I'm enjoying it. Absolutely loving it. Now, it's a different feel, and a much different. If you see me flying the quad in third person, I'm a lot smoother, probably due to my years of flying planes and helicopters in that perspective. Throw on the goggles and first person view. It's been a small learning curve, but I'm getting the hang of it. I've had about 5 flights on it now. First one wasn't so successful, especially when I flipped into acro mode. And my flights since, I've been pretty much only flying in acro mode, not the self-leveling mode. I really don't like the handling of the self-leveling. So my advice is, if you've got FPV, or excuse me, if you've got RC flying experience, just take off in self-leveling, get into the air, and then flip immediately into acro mode, and you'll be just fine. My last flight that I put in today, I actually landed in acro mode, and I believe I even took off in acro mode, and I was very wobbly on that takeoff because I didn't realize I was in acro mode at that point. So I switched over into self-leveling real quick to get out from underneath the tree that I was parked under, and then once I got in the air, I flipped into acro mode and did just fine. Today I did my first roll. I had one successful and one not so successful. So in the learning curve, I have bent several props. So if you're gonna get into quads and FPV flying, keep a stock of props on hand. I've got a whole bunch just for that reason. I figured I'd be bending props right and left, or breaking props right and left. Today's flights, no damaged props, even the one wrecked that I'll show you in this video footage. In this video, you see I went into a roll, and I tried to do a slow roll, came out of it, and I basically lost orientation, be the best way to put it, and I got too close to the ground and bounced off the ground, and looks like I could have recovered, and I just chose to kill the power and let it kind of tumble down, and was just fine. I do have the quad set up for turtle mode, but in the image that I was seeing, I couldn't really tell what direction was high and what direction was low that the quad was laying in, and I didn't want to damage another set of props on the ground. So being as I didn't have any spare props with me, and so I just chose instead to go walk and get the quad. And as you see in the video, I found the quad, brought it back, and I took off and flew some more for the rest of the battery. And it was incredible. I just gotta say, I'm absolutely loving the FPV flying, and it's quickly coming to me. I've had 5 flights now, and I can fly underneath goalposts. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to line up and get it, so I'm not gonna smack the goalposts. I'm not flying through the goalposts at high rate of speed, and the goalposts are for a football field, soccer field, and flying through those goalposts. And so I do kind of take it a little bit slow, but today I took it a little bit faster, and the confidence is definitely growing. I did some more flying between trees that I was avoiding the other time I was out, the other 2 times I was out, and the confidence definitely is getting there. I'm more comfortable flying it in the acro mode, and I actually prefer it. So I wouldn't say it's a steep learning curve, only because I've got a lot of RC experience. If you've never flown RC before, This might be a new thing for you. You might end up wrecking a lot. You might end up crashing a lot. My personal recommendation is don't learn on self-leveling if you've got no flying experience. And the reason I state that is the self-leveling doesn't give you the same feel for the quad that you have. And I don't feel I have the control that I want with it. It's trying to self-level when I'm not wanting to. So I found myself fighting against it. But on occasion I will flip into it to come in for a landing or for my takeoff if I'm taking off from underneath a tree. And that's it. And I would imagine within the next couple times I go flying, I won't even be using it at all. Just because my confidence on the acro mode is so much greater. I don't have horizon mode set up, so I can't give you an experience on that. As far as acro trainer mode, I don't like it. Didn't like it at all. I don't like how it controls the quad. I've got it set up currently on a switch, and I don't like it. And the reason I have both self-leveling acro and then the acro trainer on one switch is to experience what those flights are, to tell you as a new pilot flying FPV what they feel like to me. And for me, self-leveling is great for takeoffs, landings, but for flying, it's horrible. You don't get the control of the quad that I think you might want. But for a new person, having a self-leveling where you can flip real quick out of acro mode, if you feel like you're getting out of control, it will self-level the quad, and that might save your bacon. So I would put it on a switch for like an emergency switch or takeoff and landing switch and then flip into acro. And that would be my recommendation. I don't like the acro trainer mode. And so my recommendation is don't even bother with acro trainer. If you're gonna do anything, put angle mode on, a switch for emergencies, and just learn to fly in acro. Get yourself up in the air a bit so you've got some time to try and correct mistakes before you plummet to the ground. And if you feel like you're out of control, flip it into self-leveling. The quad will level itself and you'll be good. You'll be pretty much golden. So those are my recommendations for a new person wanting to get into FPV flying. So as a newbie flying FPV, it's incredible. If you're thinking about doing it, do it. I don't think you'll regret it, whether it be getting yourself a quad or even an FPV plane. The experience is incredible. You really do feel like you're flying. And when I did my first loop today, I really felt like I was looping in an aircraft. I mean, it was an incredible experience. So I highly recommend it. Yeah, there is a financial cost to it. The DJI system is not cheap that I'm flying with, especially since you don't get the Father's Day discount right now that I got. But again, I still recommend the system. Why? Because the clarity is incredible. So those are my thoughts for a new person considering getting into FPV flying. Get yourself a set of DJI goggles, get yourself an air unit, go out and have fun. The caveat to that is if you think, or if you're young enough, that you might ever want to do FPV racing, you might not want to consider the DJI system for one reason. You're the only one that can see what you're doing unless everybody else has a DJI system around you. If you go into an analog system, whether it be an Orca or Fat Sharks or Sky Zone or Aomway, other people can tune into your channel and see what you're doing. Or even have a FPV 10-inch screen or 7-inch screen or a 4-inch screen. They could see what you're doing as long as they got an analog transmitter. If it's DJI, they have to have a set of DJI goggles. It's the only way they can see what you're doing. So that is the downside. But if you don't plan on doing any FPV racing at all, and you're wanting to do this flying for your own experience and for your own enjoyment, go the DJI route. The image quality is incredible. So those are my thoughts for a person considering FPV for the first time. I highly recommend doing it. It's an incredible experience. Just so you know, the cost, again, can be up there. This is a warning. But you can get a vehicle for fairly cheap. This particular frame that I'm flying is the Space One Formula 220, and I bought it when it was on sale for 20 bucks, the frame. Now, the rest of the components on it, not so cheap, $26 for motors, but you can get yourself a quad that's not going to sink you 300 bucks. You aside from maybe the air unit. The air unit itself for DJI is going to run you around $179. If you go with the CADX one, that will save you a few dollars. I think it's around 150 bucks. So the air unit camera. Now, where does that go with other transmitters? Well, if you look at your analog transmitters, they range from around 20 bucks on up to around $50, depending on who you go with. And your cameras are kind of in that same ballpark. So you can spend almost up to $100 for an analog system. Well, you're only a few, 50 bucks or so shy from having a DJI HD camera. So that's something to think about. So those are my thoughts. I hope you find this video helpful. Put comments below. Let me tell me what you think. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful afternoon. Hi, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. Please hit the like button below, and if you would, hit the subscribe link up here, and take some time to watch one of my other videos. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day. God bless, and take care of yourself.